All right. Hello everyone. We're gonna start the State of the Last Oasis podcast. With me, I have a shorter crew this time around. Uh, but you guys want to do a quick introductions of yourselves? PVAT, stuff like
Go
that.
ahead, Billy.
Sure thing. I'm BillyU, the leader of the shit show that you would probably call Uganda down in the EU.
And yeah, I'm Trash Guy, not PvP Pat, of the shit show that we call TC. We're kind of a bit all over the place.
I'm Mr. Dolphin. One of the leaders of TPG, and it's been pretty fun. Been kicking ass on against CSTG, mostly fighting CSTG. It's been quite interesting. So there's that.
Good time.
Good times. So let's go over the some of the overall like current meta really quickly and stuff like what do you guys think of the current overall state of the game when it comes, especially now that malls got introduced and repeaters got nerfed, and what's your overall thought of the current state of the game?
I liked repeaters. I liked sitting in repeaters, and I liked shooting repeaters. Now that we've pretty much removed them from all our ships, and we've just gone with harpoon, it feels a little bit one-dimensional, other than gas. So if it was me, I would definitely be looking at doing something with repeaters.
Yeah, I enjoyed repeaters too, but I think they need a nerf until they fix whatever armor mechanic that they're having into legs, because they could just obliterate, like low skill obliterate legs. And there was a little silly. The carrying around 3,000 ceramic dart meta that we currently have is definitely one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss I miss repeaters. Right now I think the meta is turning more into ballistas, right? Because like I like just bunch of ballistas on your Falco or Buffalo. It just like takes down legs. I think even quicker than repeaters, but it's gonna make repeaters just useless if it stays that way.
We pulled repeaters off pretty much all our ships. Everything now is catapults and ballistas. There's no other options for our people.
Yeah, it's same situation. We have like one token one. It's pretty good for healing, you know, if you're getting boarded by a bunch of dudes. But other than that, yeah, they're pretty useless.
Yeah, I hope they do add more weapons and more stuff on that overall. Oh, so let's move on to the what do you guys think about the current low maintenance times, service status, all the long wait times that we have to deal with, especially those 7 hours maintenance times. Is there what do you think
Look,
overall?
I'll say it's probably the most disappointing thing with the game so far. I'll say that my group is enjoying the game immensely, even with maybe not as much content as having 4 hours of downtime turn into 6 hours, turn into almost 24 hours on a slightly regular basis is getting a little bit old. I understand that the devs aren't really in control of some of their back-end server side stuff, and that's, fine. But they need to be more upfront with how long things are going to take.
Most of our guys too, right? We're pretty die-hard. They're still logging in, and we were actually talking about this today. And it's kind of disheartening seeing the population around us start to dwindle, just due to people not wanting to deal with these server issues. And I think it's really dampening the overall population of the game, and that's pretty sad because it's a great game, and we want people to shoot at, so we'd like more people to play.
Yeah, I think my biggest issue is what we're dealing with just the beginning of the week, which is the constant disconnecting, constantly getting disconnected, and then having to wait 6, 7 hours, 9 hours for a patch, and it's so frustrating, especially when you have like people that just want to play the game during a very limited amount of time. And I just want to play for like an hour or two, and then guess what? You can't because the servers are going down. So
And it's definitely like we have certain people that have, set schedules in their life where they can participate a certain amount of the time. And like we've seen some other videos on Reddit where guys are posting about that, and it's hard. They're going to go play something else and get into something else, and the population's going to.
I mean, we had an instance the other day where we were raiding an enemy, and the servers decided to pretty much shit themselves for a constant. They inevitably went down for a period of time, and we were mid-fight, like cracking into a main base at the time, and I had to leave people online well after their bedtimes. So the second the servers came up, they could go and safe log our stuff. Instances like that, that's frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely. Where you're hanging assets out there in the wind, and we have dudes all around the clock, like, please log in. Like, I'm not going to get on. Like,
yeah,
save our stuff.
I was having a fight with, I think it was BKO or CSTG, and we had to pull out. They had to pull out. We had to pull out because nobody wanted to deal with the constant crashing. What do you think? What do you think they should do? Should they do like a PTR or something like that, or like a private build that everyone can test?
I think they've already stated that they have that in the background. They just haven't opened it up for public testing, but it is something that they're looking to do. I wish we'd have a little bit more information on that. But yeah, currently we just have no fucking idea.
Yeah, and just stress testing. EVE Online has been super good about it, where they have a specific server when they want to test a feature where you can cram 1,000 people on there and see how it reacts. It's just a small new dev team. They really haven't been burned yet by deploying bad code or whatever.
Well, I wouldn't say that. We have to cast our minds back to March 26th just to see what happens when you deploy maybe questionable things and 30,000 people will try to get on at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad. I hope they give us a little more communication in regards of the like I just want to know. I think it's just better if they release these patches on a weekday rather than a weekend, because weekends, even though we have dealing with the coronavirus and all the stuff, people play most of the time during the weekends, right? Regardless of what's going on.
Correct.
So it's really bad if you release a patch on the weekend and then we have to deal with it during our when we spend most of our gaming time. Yeah.
No, I'm with you there. I can tell you now, I can see at least an extra 30 faces on my Discord playing as we speak that can't log in during the week due to work. So looking at a set patch schedule would be really beneficial for the.
These are all known things. Like, I have a software engineering background, and like, you don't do stuff over the weekend that'll impact customers. You're gonna have heavy use over the weekend. I guess it's just things they have to learn in the real world.
No, I agree with that. Moving to that, like, what do you guys think about all of the meshing and duping that's going on? Well, I think it's mostly some of the meshing has been dealt with. I think a lot of people got banned over meshing, but I think there's still duping going on, especially with the iron. And I've seen a lot of the iron weapons, iron follicles, and things like that. Like, what do you guys overall thought on that?
The one case of duping iron that I know about down in the EU where we are was handled by the dev team fairly quickly and fairly. So I'm happy that the devs did that. But I don't know of many other cases of duping happening at the moment, so I can't comment too much about that.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen any except the videos that we're seeing on Reddit with their very obvious with iron-based things. I think this game is a pretty good handle on a lot of the stuff that you would, it's pretty rampant in other games. Like, how long ago did Arc, actually enforce like anti-duping and stuff? It's not as prevalent, at least what I've seen and what my guys have seen in this game is other ones.
Now, I did hear this rumor that there is a company called Team Casualty that have been duping things called cattails. Can you please comment publicly in front of everybody about this duping of cattails?
We have not been duping cattails. It is not a valid tactic to crash servers that I know of.
I have ran into a few drives that did bring iron stuff, Like I think I saw a CSTG Falco with like gun pots, and I was like, I feel like it's a waste of iron. But then again, we did raid a few of those Asian tribes that had like quality 80 resources and things like that, and some tools. But I honestly don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes when it regards of duping, and I think some of the tribes that do know how to dupe, I think like, they're keeping it to themselves, and we just casually run into them, and it's all because of the lack of logs. So it's really hard to figure out who has what, right? Like when you attack someone, you don't know if those legs, I mean exactly what they're bringing, right, or anything like that. So I honestly don't think we know if duping has been completely fixed. I think just there's some tribes just keeping it to themselves.
I would say so. I think if duping is happening, the method is not very well known. And people who probably are smart enough to know, hey, let's not dupe 1,000 iron tablets because it's going to get us spammed. Obviously, we saw what the devs did to gangbang quite quickly and publicly. So I would say that duping probably does exist in some respect, but it's not a public thing, and I don't think it's as big of an issue as a lot of people make it out to be.
There's also the other side of the coin where like we have lots of high quality mats over 80 and stuff, and people see that like you got to be duping. Oh my god, like how do you do that? So we got a team of resourceful people that sit there and on a 250 clay node, all day, and there's just people willing to do the work, and people are like, how do you do that? And they maybe, I don't know, it kind of fuels the fire that they think people are duping.
I mean, if people actually, I won't say what I was going to say. It's all right. I'll keep my mouth shut now.
But also keep in mind that the clan that got banned, the only reason why they got banned is because they showed it on stream. If they had not shown that on the stream on Twitch, I'm pretty sure they will still be playing the game by now. So I don't.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. If they weren't so brazen about it, then they would probably still be running around.
So I'm thinking. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was thinking that they just hit to the point where they had enough, and they've probably distributed enough across their actual real accounts, and it's kind of like an FU, send it. We'll go hit this e-girl up. LOL.
Simp hard, my man.
What was it, like 3,000 something tablets, right?
All of the same kind, mind you.
Wow, that's not possible. Yeah, that was obviously duping. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I feel like they don't have a, because Arc just like a little, finally got around it, or kind of got around it, and like have a way to track those kind of things, sort of. But I don't think Donkey Crew has a way to tell who is. I don't think the resources have a single ID or something that, so you can track when something's being duped. I'm not exactly sure how they do that.
Well, I mean, if the dev team is asking in their Discord for people from Gangbang to reach out, and it probably kind of indicates that they might not have an idea how the dupe is happening.
Yeah, we've had some similar conversations, so maybe someone will figure it out for them.
Yeah, I honestly think down the road, I think they need to get a kind of like a enforcement team, kind of like Arc does, right? The developers do their own thing, develop the game, but they also have a team that's only focused on cheating and exploiting and just dealing with those kind of people. I think right now the team does not have anyone that can do that, and that's why I think the community feels like they've been a little bit too slow on dealing with dupers and cheaters and all those kind of things. So that's what I think.
As I understand it, I don't believe there is an in-game moderation team at the moment. I believe the devs are doing it themselves. So yeah, probably would explain why some reports take a long time to get handled.
Yep.
And there's going to be a lot of false positives too, where people are just reporting to report because they're mad, which happens quite often.
Hey, we know that first.
I know that first. I've been reported for meshing on Reddit quite often. It's been pretty fun.
There's a clan that we've been attacking non-stop at the moment who have a habit of reporting us pretty much 24/7 when we rock. I'm sure Donkey Crew probably has 200 reports about Uganda sitting there at the moment.
Kind of a badge of honor now, I think.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about moving on to gameplay? What do you guys think about the mollusk and overall? Do you think it's worth making, bringing to PvP?
Hey, it's good for small groups. It's good for single players. As somebody who's neither of those things, I don't think I've seen more than one run around our base.
You can put 3 catapults, 3,000 bombs, and it holds 540 water without iron. It's pretty solid. Just saying.
I've been using models. I'm not sure how many of the bigger clans are actually using them for PvP, but I've been using them because yeah, you can fit catapults on them. In the driver can't be killed that easily, so you just drive around with your models and just catapult in there. Like it's so cheap to make.
Staying mobile is super key too, especially with the gas situation now. So having your driver be in a protected compartment and keep the sticks running while getting out of gas is kind of huge. We've used it in some larger engagements. They're really fun late at night. The smaller engagements. We had a specific one where some guys were sending some falcos at us, and I could just run circles around the rocks and get them to flip their falco, and then we can just break them apart. It's good. It's fun for PvP, and I think it definitely helps a lot of the newer guys where they want that kind of little extra protection in their egg. They feel it'll help them solo a little better.
Do you think it's gonna be more meta when people can make gun pods? Because like if the drivers can be killed and the gun pod drivers can be killed, would that make it more viable, or?
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I got to play with gun pods. Like I've seen a few on some ships that we've killed, but I haven't actually seen them in practice. And the way if they work just like a ballista, right? You're in a semi-invulnerable ballista turret. You might as well.
Yeah, I'll echo those statements. Need to play around with gun pods before I can.
Yeah, I've been loving the models. I know a lot of people not use them very often because they're kind of slow compared to a Falco or Buffalo, and I believe the torque is not working at the moment. So it's a worker without torque currently. But I've been enjoying it. I mean, I had a lot of fun with it. I think I used to have repeaters on it, but didn't work out so well, so I switched to ballista and catapult on it. So it's been pretty nice.
And the meta is definitely changing too. Where when we initially rolled out, you're rolling out like all Falcos, and now we're seeing a lot more diversity as fights move off the sand, and you're fighting on terrain. So we're using buffaloes, and heck, like one of our most successful ships is this one guy Zingy on a dinghy with a slingshot, and just can land these absolute like clutch shots, and it changes like battles when you can do that.
That's cool.
So the Molus definitely fits into that role, where you can do different things outside the Falco blob that exists now.
What do you think about the? I know we're talking a little bit about the before the podcast. What do you think about the repeater nerf?
Rebuff it. That's my 2 cents. I like the repeaters. I would definitely up the damage again. Maybe as yeah, nah.
What do you think I got nerfed for? Like I feel like it didn't need a nerf in the first place.
I think it's because the armor roll on legs isn't working correctly. So like, there's no reason to run armored legs right now. But the armored legs are supposed to deflect like small projectiles like darts and regular ballista. So you could just completely annihilate legs in like a short amount of time with no skill shot. And it's kind of stupid, right? It's just run your walkers in, break the legs, and then you're just a stupid melee like out in a dirt field. So I mean, that's my opinion on why I think they slowed it down and made it not so powerful.
Yeah, that was our strategy. It was basically disable the driver of the enemy walker, roll up, and repeat our legs off. Done.
Yeah, I love that strategy, but I feel like now that ballistas are probably going to be the way to go. Even if they rebuff the repeater, I think people just might stay on ballistas. So it like really depends how they rebuff the repeater, right? Because right now I don't see a reason to make one at all. Like we're literally converting all our war walkers to ballista walkers, and using bone or flint bolts, just a lot cheaper. So what do you guys think they should do with the repeaters? Should they buff the speed or just buff the damage?
I would buff the damage, keep the speed where it currently. Maybe look at if they're becoming too much of a problem, limiting the amount you can have on a ship. I think they'll probably go down that route eventually, where they start limiting what you can actually put on certain walkers.
You could also do like a speed modifier where lower damage ones can shoot faster. Like there's plenty of ways to handle it to make it interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I think any of those would be good because I honestly want to see more diversity, and I think nerfing the repeater, right? I don't think was a good idea, but we'll see. What about we also got the return of the packing timers. So what do you guys think? Did it affect you at all? Did you have to like reduce some of your builds and things like that? Because it used to be it was instant, right? But now we have a timer.
Great, keep it.
Yeah, so like we were used to it from obviously before, and then in the first couple days, I think it was cheese meme to have it instant pick up and put down. It was stupid. And this game is about like mobility and walkers and moving around. So I'm not a base fan, let's say.
There was nothing more frustrating than rolling in on an enemy and just watching them insta-pack everything and run away, safe log, go hide. It was frustrating. I know it frustrated my PvPers. Now that they can't instantly pack up everything and run away, it's a good change. Definitely approve.
And it reduced the risk way too much of just hanging out in the open with all your stuff. It was silly.
Yeah, like before, we had to send a group of 3, 4, 5, just rush in and just put everything on that timer so we can actually bring the walkers. Because if we would bring the walkers first, then we'd just pack and leave, and then just scatter. So I do like the timers. I think it's just making people make smaller bases. Because before the timers, people just this gigantic fobs or bases, packing bases, but if you do that, it takes forever to pack them. So I think we're seeing more people just make smaller boxes, so they don't have to deal with long pack times.
Before the packing time, we definitely were starting to see some Atlas-esque sized bases with massive walls and towers and turret buildings and everything. Not seeing as many of those at the moment, which is good.
Yeah, once our dump base takes 20 minutes to deploy, it's like you go back to building small platforms and using things on ships that are designed for it. And I think it's more how the game was designed to be played, whereas these stupid giant static structures that aggravate.
Do you think more clans are just not gonna make a pack base at all and just like put everything, for example, on a Schmidt, and like crafting Schmidt or like crafting Tusker and things like that, and just not bother even packing things?
Yeah, I mean, you get bonuses for it, right? Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. I honestly don't even see the point of like making a large, like I will only right now I only have a fob with just a couple of repus, and I just deploy it during a fight. But most of my stuff are on a walker that I just pull out and just do what I gotta do, and then just bring it back into the L zone.
Word around the office is a future walker that they were planning is actually pretty much a movable base in and of itself, something the size of a, where people can build a limited amount of structures and basically live off that. And honestly, that's my type of playstyle. I actually really like the idea of something like that.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I think one of the problems I have with walkers is that there's not enough deck space to put all the things that I need just to be mobile. Like sometimes you kind of forced to put kind of a packing base in certain situations, unless you make a Titan on Schmetterling to just fit all your crafting stations and don't have to worry about that. But yeah,
I think one of the issues too is that type of ship needs like a door or something, because any stupid naked with the naked system in this game is way OP. They can come up and just beat stick down your like quality 100 fireplace, and it's infuriating.
Correct. A little bit frustrating at times.
Oh yeah. So since we were talking about catapults earlier, what do you think about the bombs? Bombs in general, like, is it just too good? Does it need a nerfed?
Nah, they're fine, man. Look, the gas. If you're moving and you're mobile, you just keep on running. If you're sitting still and you get a gas bomb on you, well, honestly, you kind of deserve it.
Yeah, people aren't adapting quick enough, so we're getting some tears about it. But like we constantly move, and we watch streamers trying to shoot at us, just stop your ship so we can shoot you. Like, why the hell did we ever stop, man? Like, you can completely counter it by staying mobile.
Yeah, if there's a massive group PvPs happening on the ground and it's a whole bunch of foot, man, 1 or 2 gas bombs, it's a lot of fun. I don't think they should touch them at all.
Because I get a lot of mixed opinions outside of Reddit and things like that, where like a single sulfur bomb can just end a fight in certain instances, right? Like a well-placed sulfur bomb can just pretty much end the whole fight right there. So
yeah. We gas our own guys to do it too, and then get the upper hand and go pick up kits. And then it's a war of attrition, right? So you got to be strategic on when to send your guys out, bait them to swarm them, drop a bomb on them, and then send your dudes to go pull all the weapons out, and then you slowly bleed them dry of water and kits. And it's just a tactic, and it works well. I don't think they're too OP. It's just don't get baited.
Yeah, echoing what was actually just said in Mr. Dolphin's Twitch chat, gas is the only way for small groups to beat Zergs. Yeah, that's another good thing about gas. It levels the playing field a little bit for these smaller groups when fighting larger numbers. They just, as long as you know how to use them right, they definitely are effective. And I really hope they're not nerfed or touched much in any way.
Do you think they should add something like other kinds of bombs, like maybe smoke bombs or things like that? Or like something that flashes?
100%. The more weapon diversity and ammo diversity they put into the game, the better it'll be overall.
Absolutely. My guys are super creative, so they'll find out some wonky things to do things, which is always fun.
Yeah, I agree with that. My issue is a lot of times there's a part of the community, Last Oasis community, that just doesn't want anything to do with ranged weapons. Like, what I mean ranged weapons is the current ranged weapons in the game, like the ballista, the bombs. They just want it to be like a mountain blade and just be swords, right? And I think that's the wrong approach. I think having some kind of diversity like we have right now with the types of bombs, type of ballistas, and I want to see more weapons that change the outcome of a fight based on the skill of the person. So if you a well-placed bomb that you guys said earlier can probably change the fight very quickly if you're outnumbered or not outnumbered.
If people want to play a melee only game, they're out there on Steam. I can probably recommend taking ranged weapons out of this game would pretty much kill it at this point.
It always reminds me of that Warhammer 40k meme with the guard guy saying, "Drive me closer so I can hit them with my sword," while he's driving a big tank. That's how I feel about this guy.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I do love bombs. Is it just? Do you think we'll see more people use? Because right now I think it's mostly catapults, right? But there's a few that are using the slingshots. Is just catapults better?
It's situational. Like catapults, you have to have deck space, or on small ships, you just jump off the deck and you can get insane range with it. So catapults are really slow, right? And if you're traversing while the ship is moving, you're not going to hit anything. You're not going to be able to turn fast enough. So you got to kind of have a mix of them both and kind of run the perimeter. It just depends on how you use it. You can actually get in close and do more work with a slingshot, but you're going to be falling off ships and you're going to end up gassing yourself a lot. So it's all skill based, which kind of keeps it kind of balanced.
What do you guys think about now that you can repack Rupus? Because I've seen a lot of situations, I've done it myself, where I just like have the mats to build a Rupu turret in the middle of a fight. Like, would you think, even though there's a timer, like, it's gonna force someone to go destroy your Rupus, right? Or you just unpack a base with like 3 foundations and a couple of Rupus. Like, do you think, what do you think about that? Do you think that should be a thing, or should Rupus not be?
Have not seen Rupus be used since they brought in the pack timer again. That might be a North American thing, but down in EU on the sand battles that we've had, nobody's really done it.
We've had some guys drop them, and it's like cute, but I can just send a couple of dudes naked and start grappling around, and then you bleed them dry, and not a very long amount of time. Unless they fix like ammo boxes working on static structures, they don't really do anything.
I've been using during fights, and it's like more like a distraction, especially when there's like 30 people going at each other and you just drop a Rupu.
Yeah.
Where like I usually drop the Rupus when I like a walker, so like the Rupus are gonna be focusing the people that are spawning on those walkers. It's working out okay. Siege has been doing it to me now that we've been doing it to them. It's been kind of annoying now.
The funny thing I've always seen is that they'll backfill them and then they'll bait people into them, and you run into them and get like YOLO'd by them. You lose your Shing Blade, but that's like the most effect I've seen them.
What are you guys doing to? Now that we're a little bit on the open table, what are you guys doing to prepare? Or like, are you worried about the Scourge, the 7-day timer? Like, is it even worth putting that many claims? Because I think some of you have like 20+ claims. Some people have like 50+ claims or something like that. Like, do you think it's gonna be worth putting claims when that starts happening, or?
I think claims will still be a thing, but I think these big OWO style, hey, let's own half of a map, I think that won't be as practical for them. It'll be a lot more difficult to hold a very large lot of territory. And I think that'll open up gameplay for a lot of smaller groups as well, which is a good thing.
It's just something to do right now, and it's free farm. We have a guy who'll sit there and pump out 10 proxies, and we get 23 hours of Rupu gel and things we don't want to farm off them. And if they die, they die. They don't, we collect it the next day. I think when we start moving though, like end game is obviously going to be capturing good clay and protecting your quarries, so you have iron supply. You won't have all this proxy sprawl.
As far as I know, Quarry does not collect iron anymore.
They fixed it? It was supposed to do it?
Yeah.
We'll see, right? When the iron patch
so
actually comes.
It, as far as I understand from the beta testers, like it just gives you rocks and charcoal. So I think a lot of the iron is going to come from the event maps, and that's going to be unless you can dupe them, I guess. But the legit way is going to be just to farm them from the event maps, and even then you're gonna get maybe like 50 or 30, depends on how many people are swarming that one map.
Yeah, I mean that'll be the focus. I think again, proxy sprawl is just literally there's nothing else to do right now.
Yeah.
And
what do you guys think?
That is it.
What do you think is going to be one of the problems I'm seeing with the event maps is that, like, for example, we'll cap an event map server, right? But a lot of the smaller groups, they can't really cap an event map server. So do you think they should make event maps that are only clan limited? Because I heard that they're doing tiles that are restricted to a certain number of players, right? You can only go. Do you think they should do that for event maps too, or?
Yeah, they should. I'm an advocate of smaller groups and the solo playstyle. Losing players in those 5, 10, 20-man groups, they all quit. The game dies. I like the game. I'm having a lot of fun playing it. I want to see solo and smaller groups thrive. That's why we offer a lot of sanctuary to a lot of people on our territory at the moment. Limiting, or at least putting out hexes and zones that are just limited to small 10, 20, 30-man groups, I'm fine. They should do that with event maps, veteran maps, whatever maps they put out. There should be that gated content for small groups so they can experience it as well.
But wouldn't that take renters away from your tile? That means you have less renters. They would be probably just on the smaller maps.
Hey man, my renters love us. They'll follow us no matter what.
No, I agree with you. I agree with that.
I also think it should be implemented in a way where it's not by the clan size as much as how many people of a certain clan can get in there. Because there's certain times of night where, you're not going to have at least we don't have all our guys on there, but we want to go out and do a 10-man group and just go hit zones. So I think gating content anyway is bad, but they should still be able to promote the smaller groups.
Limiting it though to whoever's online at the time opens up the window for exploiting it via using different companies with the same people, which is definitely a thing that I could see happening.
If they don't fix cooldown timers on clans, it's going to happen anyways. Hopefully they fix that.
I believe that was a part of their process to help out the smaller groups, was they were going to put a massive cooldown on clans.
I think it was initially like 7 days. I remember because this was supposed to be the load test, right? So we just started like this dumb clan name, and we're like, oh no, this is the real thing, and like we had to create like actual TC, and we're all terrified, like, am I gonna get blocked for 7 days? We're gonna be able to, we're gonna be able to do this, but yeah, they need to re-implement that.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that need to implement, especially the locks in a better ranking system to manage members. Like right now, it's kind of a nightmare. Like anyone, if anyone just leaves your tribe, that person made your Falcos, for example, all the Falcos come with them, right? So there's like a lot of problems with the current ranking system that can just is really hard to manage, especially if you're running a large group, in my opinion.
If I was Donkey Crew at the moment, my first priority would be getting the servers 100% super stable, so we don't see, big downtime. Second would be fixing and implementing quality of life improvements for clans. As you said, we need a log. Like it's not. We can't argue about this. We need a clan log and a widget for Discord, so we can see who's moving what's happening in the clan when we're not online. That is a must, and they need to fix permissions for companies so we can set things a bit better than what they currently are.
It's absolutely nightmare fuel, like the way it is right now. Especially, we found that out where I had to go drop some Titans for somebody, and my dudes are out, and it's like, oh, our fleet is now a TrashGuy company, and like, oh shit, all right, stand by, and then you have to go through the process of, submitting them all to the clan, and then now you can't favorite them, and it's just this whole, it sucks. So I would like, after server fixes, to see definitely some QOL on guild maintenance.
Yeah, that's probably one of our biggest headaches for a lot of our admins is exactly what TrashGuy is, just dealing with situations like that. I know of another company that we were close with that got incited really badly by one person pulling out all the walkers from the lobby and destroying legs and just being an absolute nightmare, and they have no recourse to find out who it was because there's no log to see who does what.
You can literally, anyone can take an admin locked boat and put it in tile, and that's just terrifying.
Yeah. And I think that's going to make more people just not trust anybody. Like, especially if they want the game to grow and you want to recruit people, it's gonna come down to trust issues. Especially with dealing with a ranking system where I can't really trust anybody because that one person might just like take that one walker, that tribe walker, with them and things like that. So it's like makes it.
Oh, we don't recruit for that very reason. We only invite people to the company that have a vouch from a friend inside the company.
Oh yeah,
and even then, it's a big process of interviews and asking who you are and all that crap.
Yeah, exactly. We do it the same way, but you have to keep in mind that there's also a lot of small, mid-sized groups that don't have that luxury, and they just recruit as many people as they can, and they kind of put their trust in them hoping that person won't steal their Titan the next day.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so this is at that point right now. What do you guys think about the I don't know what that was. Trailer was like just a side project. All I saw was like something like a bat.
Well, it looks like we're getting tames, boys. We're going to the Atlas lifestyle. We're going to have big tame dragons. Fuck it, you name it, we're going to have it. Yeah, I think that trailer was just a side project for one of the devs who was having a bit of fun.
I'm hoping for dragons and grenades because I know a certain group of boys we hang out with would be super happy.
I don't know about that. I know I don't know what that thing is called. It looks like a bat, a giant bat, and it looks like something to do with eggs. That I feel like looks like kind of done. Like it's just finished. They just need to implement it or just work on the AI. Like I want to see more creatures in the map, so there's more diversity, and maybe they give you different resources, so it gives you something to do, right? Especially for the PvE players, in my opinion.
I think that's where the game's lacking at the moment is PvE. Anybody who knows Uganda knows we are 95% PvP. That's what we live and breathe for. That's what we do pretty much 24. I do have a group of PvEers who basically don't play because there's nothing for them to do. Other than doing tax runs from proxies, like that's it. There's nothing for them to do. Definitely adding some more PvE content in the game would be hugely beneficial.
It's like the sandbox conundrum, where most of the content is going to be created by people and people interactions, but you need to be able to support all your PvE guys because they do a lot of farming and other things that they like to do.
Yeah, I agree. And that's one of the problems I think people had to deal with during the beta, where people just wanted a hardcore PvP game, but they don't understand that there's PvE content. If you don't add enough PvE content, the people that do the PvP are gonna get bored and move on to another game, and then you're gonna have, and the people that want to do PvE, they don't have any PvE content, and they also going to leave the game. So you need to have a good balance of PvE that leads to PvP or both, right? And I think at the moment, I think we all can agree that there's not enough PvE stuff to do. So just build.
Hopefully, that's where event maps will maybe fix the issue a bit. And this is the beautiful thing about Last Oasis with the hex system. They can go and create a hex that is very PvE heavy. I did read or hear somewhere from somebody that they're looking at doing dungeons, like veteran maps, different types of biomes, hopefully with different resources on them. Just implementing that type of stuff is motivation for a PvE player to go, hey, let's go and travel all this way to a different biome to collect some stuff that we necessarily can't get where we currently are. That's content, and they definitely need to look at implementing stuff like that sooner rather than later.
No, yeah, I agree. I am looking forward to these event maps, especially the worm, because I never got to play with the worm during the beta phase. Like I only got to do the, well, I don't know if I can say it, but the asteroids, and that's okay. That was pretty good actually. It was fun, but like I don't think people realize how insane the event maps are going to be, because from what I remember, even on the event maps, those servers were capped during the beta phase, and imagine how that's going to be when they get released, and people are just going to be fighting over that iron, and I think from my understanding, the claims are going to play a huge part. So I think if you are on a nearby claim, a event map will spawn within your grid, and you will get resources from that one event map into your claim. So claims are going to play a huge part, because people are just going to be fighting over these claims now to get more event map taxes, something like that.
I wouldn't know. They wouldn't let any TC into the closed beta, so
But you guys, I heard from Reddit, you guys are dupers. What do you mean?
We're beta testing dupers. Oh, there's a clip. Shit.
Oh, there we go, Reddit.
So it is the cattails. Got it.
It's cattails.
For like N3 painting sales. Oh,
Ooh.
shots fired.
Actually, honestly, they need to bring that in soon too. I need to be able to put the Ugandan flag on my sails again.
Yeah, I really, I think we need those event maps, because I think that's just people are just getting bored. Like people don't have enough to, they don't know what to do besides just PvP. Like you need to have that PvE content. So whenever that comes in, I think we're gonna get a huge bump of population, because people are going to want to check out those event maps. So yeah. Anyway, I think that's pretty much everything that we cover on the podcast. You guys have any final statements you want to tell the community? Billy?
Increase server limits. My God, I hate being Q Simulator.
Increase server limits. TC number 1.
Oh, I know. I've been having a lot of fun with the game. I really want to see this event map soon. I'm looking forward to them the most, especially the worm, because I never got to see the worm. But yeah, anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll probably be doing this podcast probably sometime after the new content drops in. Well, anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, guys.
Take it easy, guys.
All right.